Again, everyone, it's been a bit of a while since I did my last update on the channel, so I figure it was about time to do another one, and I was kind of waiting out before I actually did one because I was still trying to figure out a few different things about what was coming up on the channel and various other things, and wanted to get enough things in line before I kind of gave you guys a video of me talking about random things on the channel and everything. And first things first, we're doing a whole marathon of commentaries on Saturday here, because Trent, Steve, and myself are all going to be doing a slew of different commentaries. Trent and I are actually finally doing the one for The Fugitive after a couple weeks ago. There's a little bit of a problem with him being very exhausted throughout the whole week, not feeling very well, and wasn't able to get here to be able to do the commentary when we originally scheduled it. So since we're also doing the Beverly Hills Cop 2 commentary with the three of us, he's going to show up. We're going to do that commentary. Then we'll do the Beverly Hills Cop 2 commentary with the three of us. Then Trent will leave. And then Steve and I are going to do another very special late night commentary about a film that is especially awful for the both of us. And I'd like to keep this one a little bit more kind of tied up and whatnot. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. When it drops, you'll know what it is. You'll know what it is. We really want to build up this whole anticipation for this one, because it's going to go right off the fucking deep end. If you ever listen to like the commentary we had for like Halloween 5 or Jason Takes Manhattan, stuff like that, this is going right down that same level. And it's just been a commentary that we never thought we'd end up doing, because the film is so goddamn awful, but we've kind of built ourselves up to the point where it's like, okay, the awful shit generates the most entertaining commentary. So we've kind of braced ourselves for this one, kind of tempered ourselves up to a point to make sure that we're going to go ahead with this one. So I'm doing 3 commentaries right down the line. We'll have a dinner break in there to recharge, but it's going to be a long fucking day for Steve and I. Long day. We got to work morning shifts and then come in and do all this type of stuff. We're going to be tired by the end of this thing, but man, I'm charged up to be able to do it and everything. I'm really looking forward to this entire thing. This is going to be great. It's going to be wonderful. But review-wise, I've definitely got a couple of things up in the queue for reviews. So after some time after the Wrath of Khan thing, I was kind of eyeing something, but I'm gonna get into this. I'm gonna get into this, how I'm working out my schedule with all this type of stuff, because again, I want to get the schedule back on track. I've been trying to say that for a long time now, after a lot of things kind of got a little bit off track earlier in the year, and a few things have gotten here and there and everywhere with my own schedule and things like that. But I got some stuff I'm really excited to kind of dig into here, and one of them, which I kind of decided on today, because I started watching some of the Scream Factory Blu-ray features on this whole thing, which are pretty much poured over from the old DVD set. But back in the first year I was doing this, my first Forever Horror Month, I did the first Forever Horror Month review I actually ever did was for The Howling. And so I've been wanting to redo that review for a long period of time here, because obviously the first year I'm doing this type of stuff, I kind of really did that review on kind of a spur of the moment type of thing, after I kind of did a written review on the blog, after I just really first watched the film for the very first time all the way through. Now I've gotten the Blu-ray set for since last year and whatnot. I've been really kind of wanting to do it, just never getting into doing it and whatnot. So I just decided to throw on a couple of special features, kind of get into the feel of the film, and decided against, it's almost midnight right now with me shooting this whole thing, decided against sitting down and watching it after I watched the 55-minute documentary. Okay, I'll put this a little bit on pause. I don't want to be shooting this thing at almost 2 o'clock in the morning, because I've got some morning shifts later in the week. Don't want to be up that late and then grinding myself into the ground, so pacing it out here. But I definitely want to redo that review for The Howling, because it's a wonderful film, and I really haven't watched it since I did that review. So it's watching now. I've got the Blu-ray and all that type of stuff. Just a regular MRE case. I bought the thing on a Best Buy sale months before they announced the Steelbook edition, but that's still the same features, still the same thing, just different packaging. But regardless of that, The Howling is on the books. And I've also been kind of eyeing, because another one I did that same month back in 2013 was Mike Nichols' The Wolf with Jack Nicholson. and just, I don't know, I'm just kind of a werewolf mood, I guess. I actually watched my review of that of Wolf, and it's like, it's still pretty good aside from all the overblown theatrical, over the top presentation I have early on in the video. Thoughts and presentation of the thing was still pretty solid or whatnot, but I've got the UK Indicator Series edition of it, which has like an hour-long documentary on it, which I haven't watched since I got it last September. So it'd be nice to kind of refresh it, get a feeling for that, and kind of go into it and see if I can really add in a lot more to really fully justify doing a Redux review on that. Because I still get comments on it and a few other things from that first Forever Horror Month, but obviously there are a few of them, like In the Mouth of Madness one, which I redid last year, that I felt like it was a very strong need to have to redo that, a much more polished presentation, because I mentioned the story before, but when I was doing the original In the Mouth of Madness review, I was shooting that on Halloween night, and I had to keep stopping in the middle of the video to go downstairs and deal with trick-or-treaters and run back upstairs and continue shooting the video. And then I had to rip the thing, edit the thing, and get it online before I had to leave for a theatrical screening of John Carpenter's Halloween at like midnight. So I produced that thing in about the span of like 4 or 5 hours. And so it was necessary to redo that. It just felt very much so. There's a few other things I kind of batted around redoing from that first year, that first Forever Horror Month, that I'm still kind of thinking about whatnot, because they are films that do deserve a little bit more of a polished presentation, a little bit of an update. But I'm really into doing The Howling again, and touching on maybe Mike Nichols' Wolf once more time. And there's something else here we're going to get here in the Blu-ray updates and stuff like that, the media pickups, that is also very strongly on the books here, because I just got a more than just horror. I've got some fantastic action to deal with here and everything, guys. So we've got the commentaries. It's going to be full bore type of stuff. I'll have plenty of commentaries to deal with for like the next month. Then Steve and I will start the Scream franchise, because we're very much into that. I just rewatched the first Scream with the audio commentary from Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson the other night. That was kind of nice. It was a little dry. It wasn't too informative, but I felt like it was nice to kind of refresh it after I just watched like Wes Craven's New Nightmare. I was kind of on a Craven kick, whatnot. So all this type of stuff, just getting back at that mindset and get very much excited for that, because I've been waiting to do these Scream films for a couple of months now, especially when we get to Scream 3, which is just, I don't know what the fuck that movie was, man. The thing goes way off the deep end in terms of the story twist, the plot twist that whole thing has. If you've never seen it, obviously if we get around to our commentary, I'll implore you to actually watch it before we do the commentary, but it's just really just not well done. 4, I absolutely fucking loved when it came out. Just by the ending of that movie, it blew me the fuck away to go see it twice. So I got plenty of stuff to talk about with Scream stuff. I upgraded all my, because I did have the first Scream on Blu-ray because the DVD is non-anamorphic, so I upgraded that a couple years ago. But I figure doing the commentaries, I'll upgrade the other ones. I got them for like maybe like $6 a piece online from the same eBay seller, so that was fantastic. Seller I frequent all the time, kind of like, I think it's called like Declutter Store. Never had a problem, fast shipping, good stuff. So if you find DVDs, Blu-rays, whatever it is from them, definitely recommend them as well. So cool stuff there. So the Scream stuff is all ready to go when we get to it in a couple of weeks. So I'm just excited, because we'll do the first 2 together, and then maybe kind of break off to do something in between. We're thinking about like doing something with like The Strangers and maybe the Friday the 13th remake, and then we'll close off the other Scream stuff, and then we'll be around to October about that time, and then we'll probably maybe start out the Texas Chainsaw Massacre films. Not sure. We'll see where things land, because we got a couple other things that are stirring around in the pot, but we've kind of had the Texas Chainsaw stuff planned since the end of last year, and we just kind of piled up like Final Destination and The Scream and a couple other things, The Fog and My Bloody Valentine. So hopefully you've listened to the other commentaries we've done lately, the Batman 89 one, the Candyman one. Certainly had a couple discussions there about other people who liked the film a lot more than we did. We had a lot of problems where we just feel like the the story elements of the film were just far too vague and abstract, for far too long in the progression of the story, for us to really kind of warm up to the whole thing. So I always had a problem with the film. I never really pinpointed it until we did the commentary. Might have been a little bit running around in circles on it, kind of re-explain the same issues and whatnot, but hopefully we got our points across. But we were very much open to hear other people's points of view on that whole thing. So Blu-rays now, and I have a Laserdisc here, which I really have to talk about. It's really fantastic. But the other review I'm definitely up for, because I had to do this because it's Stallone, and I was a bit on a kick to get these. And a couple years ago, about 4 years ago, I did review the first 3 Rambo movies, and I was just on this kick. I was a little bit kicking myself in the ass a little bit, because they had these are the 4K remasters, the Ultra HD ones, but the standard Blu-rays on here also have the 4K transfers and whatnot. And I was kicking myself because back on Black Friday I could have gotten these for $8 a piece. And I was just kicking myself because I was really just kind of getting, where was that trailer for Last Blood? I don't know. But I was just on a kick to grasp these and sit down and watch all the Rambo movies in one goddamn day, which I did. And I'll tell you, just watching these on the 1080p one, these do look far more impressive than I've ever had before. First Blood, still one of the best action movies ever made. It looks fantastic, sounds fantastic. Excellent film, just absolutely excellent. I just love it like living hell. Still the best one, but this is really cool and everything to just watch this again, because it's just killer. Rambo 2, Rambo First Blood Part 2, be specific. It's silly. It's a real ridiculous type of movie with a lot of heavy-handed messages, but it has some good action, has good stuff, and I think the 4K remaster really kind of, in general, kind of benefited this one almost the most, because I always felt like the DVD, all the previous transfers just looked very, the photography just looked very flat in the film and just didn't have a lot of depth or quality or contrast or whatnot. So even though it doesn't look as fantastic as the first film or even 3, in terms of photography wise, the quality that was given to it from the 4K restoration really helped it a lot to make it look a little bit more stronger in various areas or whatnot. But this is kind of funny and whatnot to watch it again. And everything is one of those films that, you know, is perfectly 1985, right when Stallone was also doing Rocky 4, which is absolutely even more ridiculous than this movie. You put there two of the biggest films of the decade right in the middle of the decade, and they were absolutely completely ridiculous movies, and we absolutely love them, don't we? But watching again, obviously Rambo 3, which I definitely, I said in my review, definitely go back and watch the reviews, because I rewatched them. They hold up completely. My opinions, everything like that holds up very well. I very much like them. But Rambo 3, a lot of people kind of push it aside, but I like the photography of this film so goddamn much. The cinematography is absolutely stellar. Peter McDonald, he came on from second unit into being the main director on this thing when Russell Mulcahy kind of bowed out early on in production, and guy fucking delivered, at least on the quality of action and the acting and stuff like that. Beautiful, amazing type of stuff. And even though it doesn't have as much story, and some of the stuff, definitely a lot of the stuff in the film is also very dated. It was about dated 3 weeks before the film actually came out. Watch my review to find out more about that. But it still holds up. It's a lot more satisfying an action film than the second film is. But regardless of that, I still very much enjoyed watching all 3 of them. And I never watched the 4th film. Even when I did my reviews 4 years ago, 2015, I hadn't watched it. I hadn't watched it at all. But I was going down to do this marathon and whatnot with an intention to watch them all. And so I got the 4th film, both in the theatrical cut and the extended cut. This is the only one I watched so far. When I do the review, which is what I'm telling you here, I'm going to be doing a review on the 4th Rambo movie very soon. Once I get Howling done, this will be up next. So, because I got some documentaries, I want to listen to the Stallone commentary on the theatrical version and kind of get a sense of what he kind of second-guessed himself on when he made the extended version of it, which is much more of a director's cut, definitely. So, I definitely want to explore a little bit more of this in depth and not rush into it too much. So, but just in general, I was very impressed. I was very impressed by it, and even though the trailer for Last Blood didn't have any Goldsmith score in it, which Brian Tyler did a fantastic job, because Goldsmith had passed a few years before he made this film. Brian Tyler came on, did a fantastic job to honor Goldsmith and what his themes were, his feel of it, and mix his own new stuff into the whole thing. The damn First Blood theme, It's a Long Road, was stuck in my goddamn head. That I was like, okay, I can't go ahead and just shoot the review the next day because I'm going to get into a burnout if I do this. So I had to flush it out, take some time for some other stuff, and kind of get myself a little bit more even keel going forward. But the fact I had a Goldsmith score stuck in my head, I couldn't get it out. It's not like it's a bad thing, but it's like, okay, I got to get some sanity back in my life. So, RAMBO 2008 is coming up as a review shortly because it's going to be perfect time. New film comes out in September. Can't fucking wait. Stallone is awesome. But I also picked this up when A Stranger Calls from Scream Factory. Stranger Calls Back, the sequel that came out in the mid-90s on... it was actually a Showtime original. I did review this a couple years ago as a sort of franchise retrospective. Now, you don't think of this as a franchise, but there's the original film, there's a sequel, there's a remake, so that constitutes a franchise. So I did a 3-film retrospective back in, I think it was 2014, and this is still the one I liked the most. I liked it so much I got it on Laserdisc because the DVD was out of print and very costly, so I got it on that, and I jumped on this because they Second Sight Films actually included this and the short film The Sitter, which the original film was based on, from Fred Walton and whatnot. He'd produced that prior to that. And they put that out as a big collector's set with the original film remastered or whatnot last December out in the UK, which was region-free. I kind of thought about getting it, but I never pulled the trigger on it. Then Scream Factory announced this. I got it, and I was still very, very thoroughly entertained by it, very engaged by it. I think it's a grossly underrated film. People really need to give this the time of day because it's really damn good. It's got as good as the scenes of terror and suspense were in the first film. This is just as good. I think the overall story is a little bit more streamlined in general. I just like the quality of acting is fantastic. Fred Walton's Fred Walton, his director and writer and whatnot, his direction is fantastically on point. Everything is really tight and creepy, stuff like that. I really enjoy this whole goddamn thing. When A Stranger Calls Back, really did. I haven't watched all the features. I just watched the interview with actress Jill Sholin on this, and she was such a engaging personality. So absolutely, thoroughly, just pleased and just felt very rewarding to work on this whole project with someone like Charles Durning and Carol Kane and whatnot. She just had a fantastic time in this. Remembers it with such a glowing memory and whatnot. So it was a wonderful interview that she had. So I got to get to the other ones eventually. But this has both a original 1.33 to 1, a 4:3 sort of presentation you would have seen on cable back then, and then another one that's kind of put together as a widescreen presentation. But I decided to watch the full frame version because it just seemed like the most proper version to watch and whatnot, because that was technically the way it was intended to be seen, because it was just never meant to be shown in a widescreen fashion. But I decided to watch that, and it's like it looked really good, and so it's as good as a mid-90s cable TV movie could look. It looks that good, so don't expect to look like a $100 million Spielberg movie or something like that. But for what it was, the Blu-ray transfer is really damn good. So I definitely highly recommend checking this out whenever you can. And Steve has been kind of pushing this whatnot to Trent as well. Not Trent pushing so much, but Trent is also a fan of this franchise. And so I had to grab at least a starter set for Saw. And yeah, I'd never seen any of the Saw movies. Never saw them because it's just one of those things, like, at the time they're coming out, they're kind of being part of this whole, at least in the media perspective, film critics perspective, they're kind of wrapped up in the torture porn type of thing, whether it's as a terribly accurate type of moniker to put it on, but it was being much more of a wrapped up in sort of the splatter film type of thing, and not being really kind of revered in terms of terror and suspense type of films. And I really wasn't keen for just like splattering gore across the screen. Just never felt like that was something that needed a lot of skill to pull off. But the fact that James Wan is involved with the first film and he's director, all that type of stuff, and just think I gotta get going on this whole stuff so we can eventually do commentaries, maybe at least on the first three. We'll see where things go, see how I feel about them, and see where things go. But this is a nice pack that just has the original Blu-rays of the first three films with all their special features on it, and the second and third films are unrated editions. So this was a lot better to get than apparently, because they've got like a complete series set, but apparently the films themselves have been like re-encoded and stripped of all the bonus features, stuff like that. And I've heard like the encodes are not terribly good, like they fit like two films on one disc, stuff like that. So I didn't hear terribly great things about that version, so I felt like this, getting it for like $6 was not a bad thing on eBay. So I'll get around to it eventually and see what I feel about it. But you can't go wrong with $6 for 3 movies, $2 a piece, whatnot. So one other Blu-ray I got, because I was out looking for, got most of the Rambo remaster ones used and whatnot. I had to order part 2 off of Amazon because I couldn't find it used anywhere. I got the first film and the third film used at a disc replay. The second film I just had to order new or whatnot. But they had a copy of Captain Marvel, which I know there's a lot of people who got their own things about the whole film, but I found it enjoyable. I found it fun and entertaining. I really enjoyed the whole thing. It just felt like a really refreshing ride and adventure and whatnot. So they had it there for like $16.99, which is like $4 or $5 cheaper than I was going to get it anywhere else. So, you know, I haven't watched it yet. It's like, I'm probably not going to see it at a better price for that. And most of these Marvel titles don't go below $20 new anywhere. So seeing it just sitting on the shelf, it felt like, okay, I'll grab it up and I'll watch it when I can. So I've like I said, I really enjoyed it. I just thought it was maybe not, it wasn't perfect, it wasn't excellent or whatnot, but like, it was fun, it was entertaining. I really enjoyed what they had to go on there. Like, it was just a cool ride with definite flaws here and there, whatnot. Some things are a little bit more heavy-handed in what they're trying to say about certain things or stuff like that. So there are certain things I would kind of tweak and kind of make a little bit more traditional in terms of storytelling and whatnot. But I thought it was all right. And another thing I grabbed up when I was looking around for the Rambo stuff is this goddamn Laserdisc over here, which was, I saw it and I had to have it because it's the Highlander set. This is the deluxe widescreen collector's edition of the director's cut of the film, 10th anniversary. And look at this fucking triple gatefold you've got going on here. Once I saw this for $4, I had to buy this damn thing. It's phenomenal. This thing looks gorgeous. Just look at this shit. It looks wonderful. Oh, I mean, this still is a little bit fuzzy or whatnot. It's not terribly great, but it's kind of cool that it's the director's cut. And this, as soon as you open this, you see a still from the film that you never saw in the U.S. So once you open this thing, it's like, that's a scene I've never seen before. I gotta throw this thing right away. And it's THX certified Laserdisc with Dolby Digital surround sound, and the picture looks really damn good. It just looked really good, and it's got the whole film on one disc, 2 sides, then all the bonus features on its own disc here, one side, where they've got obviously theatrical trailers, still galleries. They got the original commentary track with Mulcahy and the producers, and just just a whole bunch of stuff on here. They have a virtual 3D katana sword type of thing, whatever that is, and just a whole bunch of stuff. Stills of lost scenes, because they famously had other scenes that were supposed to be in the film, but they ended up having a fire at the laboratory and lost the footage. So there's only a couple like production stills or stuff like that here, but even look at this back cover, man. You can see this wonderful sort of spot gloss border on this thing. Just looks beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. This thing looks gorgeous. Just awesome. This is all embossed here and everything. Just like, it's beautiful. And I was just at this Half Price Books, and I decided to look at the lasers because I couldn't find anything else. And this was staring me in the face like, oh, goddamn. Oh, goddamn. Just open this thing up. I was like, oh, I gotta have this shit. Gotta have this. So that was beautiful type of thing. Just find that. I really am very pleased by getting that. Just like, yes. Because none of the other films in the franchise deserve this kind of quality. Don't deserve this treatment. They're kind of shit. The second one's just shit. The third one, like I put in my review, it's okay, but it's nothing like this. And the fourth film obviously came out after Laserdisc was a thing in the US and whatnot. So regardless of that, this one deserved it, and a really kind of cool, wonderful package. I'm just very glad to have it. I'm very glad. So there's that. And lastly here, I haven't done a start to finish read on it yet. I still keep saying I need to do that. But the script I've been working on for a very long time now, this sort of horror thriller, cop thriller type of thing I've been going on, is technically finished. I think I've written everything that needs to be put into the script. I have to, like I said, start to finish read, and I'm going to throw it out to Steve and Trent and whatnot, because they'll definitely be, they are interested in being involved with the whole thing. So once that gets wrapped up and I can make sure that I've covered everything, I didn't miss any spots or whatnot where I had to jump around in the script, writing different things, make sure everything flows, I didn't miss anything that I have to edit or whatnot, or add in, something like that. There's not some weird gaffe or whatnot in writing. I'll send it off to them. I'll get their input. I'd like to be able to get it before they get here on Saturday, but we'll see where things happen. But regardless, the script is finished, more essentially. By essential means, it's a finished product that I'm ready to start showing people and start making moves. Or I told Trent that I need to, once I get this thing out to him, we have to start thinking about working out some shooting locations I have ideas for, places I have in mind, but we'll definitely work on this one step at a time. So nothing's being rushed. I've barely thought about anyone in casting. I don't know what I'm doing on that, but I want to get all the logistics in place before I go ahead and even start attaching main people to the film. So it's been 6 years since I actually shot over 6 years since I actually shot anything I have scripted. And so one of the main things, the last thing I was working on was Kill Shot, this crime drama web series I had going on. And it was just a mess. It really was just a mess, because I was working on it for like 2.5 goddamn years, and we never even got half the goddamn thing shot, because there kept being scheduling conflicts all over the goddamn place. I had some actors dropped out for personal reasons, other people dropped out for other reasons. I had to recast roles at certain points, and other people left on very short notice because they weren't keeping up with my emails and communication with the production, and they just abandoned things, and things just started going off the rails. Logistics were definitely very difficult with the locations I was working at. It just was all over the place and out of control, and it just had to die. It just became insurmountable type of problems. I just had to kill it. I couldn't do anything more with it. I still love the qualities of the scripts and the stories I was telling, but I just feel like I'm not just going to resurrect something just because I liked what I wrote there, because I know how big of a freaking production it was. Why I thought a web series production would be easier to do than a feature film, I have no idea, because eventually it would have been just as long of a goddamn thing as a feature film script, just broken up into separate episodes. So I don't know why I thought otherwise. Why it would be easier? I have no idea. I did get like 2 full episodes done. It was all shot in standard def, so it's not the best quality type of stuff in general, but the quality acting and the story and whatnot that I was building was very high grade. And at least the 2 episodes I put out work well enough as standalone type of stories. They do have a beginning, middle, and end for that episode, so they work as their own things that would have built into bigger stories and everything. So regardless of that, there's a playlist on the channel you can check out if you're interested to grab that type of stuff up. And I might be talking about it on the RavensFilm archive on the Patreon eventually, but that's been something I've been trying to get back around to. Just dealing with a lot of stuff right now in terms of just getting my schedule on an even playing field and all that type of stuff. But fact of the matter is, the last production I was working on that, and what I was helming and stuff like that, and it just wasn't working out. And before that, it was PI Dangerous, which was a massive type of thing where I had a whole ton of fucking people involved with the whole thing, but few key people and personnel. Eric had a lot of problems in terms of his scheduling at the time, and then when we started to restart production, we got like one scene shot, and then his camera got broke, so things didn't work out there, and just felt like that was just had to just wash away and not be worried about it anymore. So it's been a long time since I actually got a full production of my own script done and completed. So it's been like The Fixer and Dead of Night, and then basically like nothing else since then, aside from the music video projects, stuff like that. But anything I've sat down and wrote a script for, it's been very few things, and it's not been a great track record. So working with guys like Trent and Steve, Trent is very much a guy who works very well in terms of planning, making sure things are very well sorted out and make sure that we have options. He's going to be a real good counterweight to make sure that we can get everything in line. He's a very good logistical type of guy. So hopefully with him, we'll be able to start getting some ideas and start getting things a little bit more in a realistic point of view of going forward with this whole thing. Once we get that stuff sorted out, then we'll move on to the next step of getting some more personnel involved with the whole thing. We'll see if my friend Eric Woldman, the cinematographer, if he can be involved with the whole thing. It's a matter of what his requirements are to get onto the production. But I know him being involved is a major step forward in getting the quality of what we want done, because otherwise I'm just shooting with this camcorder and not a whole lot of major equipment. With him, he's got tons of stuff. He's got DSLRs, he's got Steadicams, he's got dollies. He can make so much of the quality of what I've envisioned for this thing make happen. Just a matter of what we can do in terms of his requirements about having people on the crew and stuff like that. So it's one step at a time. So there's a lot of stuff to plan out, but I want people involved that I trust and can be reliable and work on this thing as best we can. And there's another little thing that's in a little bit of an inkling of start of a thought here or whatnot, that Steve and a friend of his wrote a script a number of years ago that they sent me back in like 2014 that I was very much interested in doing with, but we had, again, logistical problems in terms of a simple shooting location. But I started reading through stuff yesterday after I kind of was not having the most energetic day or whatnot, but I was reading through some old scripts that I did try to write, and they were just kind of like not going to be worthwhile to explore. But then I came across their old script. It's like, this could work. This, if we can work out the one little thing that we couldn't get in line for it, for this one location, I think we do some really fantastic stuff with this little horror script they put together. So we'll see where that goes. We got to get a little kind of conglomeration of ideas and collaboration going on to see if that manifests into anything worth a while, but we'll see where it goes. I'm very much interested. I've never shot anything. I mean, I did the one concept trailer for Louis Weinberger a few years ago for his book Into the Devil's Reach, but as a full script, I've never actually shot anything that I didn't write. But in fact, I like this script enough to be the one who directs it for them and make it happen. It means it says a lot, because I've always had problems reading other people's scripts, and the fact that I grasped onto this and I feel like there's a really good thing that we can deal with and develop it a little bit more and just execute in very compelling fashion says a whole lot. So that's going to be kind of cool and everything. If we get anywhere with it, we'll work on it. We're planning a long game with all these things, so one step at a time. So cool stuff there and everything. And last little thing is that a couple weeks ago, HEMI had another live show. The first one I've shot in over 2 years, because a couple of their dates they had I wasn't able to make, a little bit short notice and whatnot, but it was great to finally be back shooting some live video for Trent for both of his bands, because he's got HEMI, then he's got his punk band Toxic Rocket, and Toxic opened the show, HEMI closed the show, and I shot both things, and they both look really damn good. They sound really good, because I did a whole new setup with the microphone and everything, because before I just had the shotgun mic on the mount on the camera. So every time I move the camera, the audio kind of shifts all over the place. But we kind of had for a long time to find a way to make it stationary somehow. And since I've had this whole setup and whatnot with my boom pole and everything, with a telescopic mic stand, all that type of stuff, where I've got the extension cable, I was able to put that on my regular like tabletop mic stand and whatnot off to the side in front of one of the main speakers, and just use that this like 8-foot cable where it is, and just move around within that confine. So aside from the big pole they had in the middle of the stage here, which kind of obscuring the view, I think it pulled off really well. The bands were both very solid, and I very much liked the fact that the audio came out so consistently. I did a little Final Cut Pro EQ after the fact to make it a little bit more sweeter or whatnot, but it turned out really well. I'm very impressed by it, and it's up on both their YouTube channels, and I also, at least I have the HEMI set up on my Vimeo account. I'll have to put up the Toxic Rocket one shortly. I had to wait for my, I only have the Plus account, which has a 5 gig weekly upload limit, so had to wait until it resets to put up the other set, because that's about 3 gigs worth of video putting up there and everything. So in regards to that, links in the description below for that type of stuff, and cool stuff. So I got a lot of things perspective going forward, and next week I'll definitely be seeing Spider-Man Far From Home. I don't know if I'm actually going to do a review on it, but I got the day off. I requested off. I got July 4th off, so I've got a little more time off. Maybe not as like a big block or whatnot as I usually prefer, but I've got a few more days off in the next 2 weeks to do some stuff. I'm gonna actually looking going to a concert on the 11th, whatnot, depending on how the weather stays up, because it goes back between really nice and warm, and then it rains again. So we've been having awful weather. It just turned into summer like a few days ago. We've had this extension of like winter for an extra month, and it kind of eventually moved into spring, but it was just like miserable and everything. So it's been really bad. So we'll see. I'll have to see if the weather holds up for the concert I want to go to, because it's kind of an outdoor show or whatnot, because Heart is doing another tour this year with a couple things like Sheryl Crow and another band or whatnot. But I saw Heart a couple years ago, and apparently they're kind of like expanding the set this year or whatnot to do a little bit more, just more variety in this whole thing. And Anna Nancy had been kind of in a bit of a rocky place in a certain way. There was an incident backstage between certain people in the family and whatnot that caused the friction and whatnot, and a split. But apparently they're back together now. Hopefully they're on good terms and not just doing this for a matter of money. Hopefully they're on very good terms and put together a fantastic show. So I'm looking forward to that. But like I said, as long as it's not miserable out. So I haven't bought a ticket or whatnot. Usually just buy them at the box office on the day of and get the best seat possible for the lowest cost. So regardless of that, we'll see. I guess, like I said, more time off. Fantastic marathon of commentaries on Saturday. I'll be exhausted at the end of it, but hopefully I'll be able to still keep going forward and get the stuff done for the Howling review and everything like that over the next couple of days, and then eventually some RAMBO, and then maybe some more Wolf. So cool stuff. Thanks so much, guys, so much for sticking around. We've exceeded 5,000 subscribers. I just hit 4,000 in February, so something around here has just been gaining traction. Weirdly enough, the view counts, like the regular videos like this stuff and mainly the reviews, aren't really going up that much. I don't know if it's because something with the commentaries is grabbing more attention or whatnot, because those are kind of wonky in a certain way, because I'm sure there's a lot of people who are searching on YouTube to find the film uploaded for free to watch, and sometimes they come across the commentary and they start downvoting it because it's not what they thought they wanted to find, even though it clearly plastered all over the place commentary on the video and the thumbnail, on the title of the video and the description. It all says commentary, audio only commentary, somehow they get found and people think it's me uploading the whole video for them. It's like, I'm not doing that, because I'll get my channel shut down by copyright strikes, and then I won't be around here anymore and my entire catalog will be gone. So that's not worthwhile. So go ahead, support the films. If you just gotta rent them, something like that, where it is, just support them if you really want to watch them. Or a lot of people do just listen to the audio here or there if they know the film well enough. And always, like I said, there is the Patreon, $1 per month, and you get every single commentary as a downloadable audio file from an online archive. You get every one of them a day early before they go live on YouTube. If you want to do $3, you'll get both the 2-day advance thing for the actual reviews and a few other little things, as well as the RavensFilm archive stuff, which I am planning to get back on top of and put a bunch of episodes out soon. So always that. So all that type of stuff, when you contribute to the Patreon, that helps to keep these things flowing forward. So just everything here, because I'm paying off the paying off the iMac I got here. I'm paying off stuff with like Adobe Creative Cloud and various other things that do cost a lot of money to keep things going around here, to keep paying them off. So that definitely helps when you contribute to the Patreon. That helps to keep all of these things, all this software, all this hardware, continue to be present for my use to make all this content happen for you guys. So do thank you very much. Whatever you do around here to support things, because even if you just watch the videos, it helps with getting the ad revenue to keep things going as well. So whatever you do around here to engage with the channel and support it and stuff like that, I absolutely positively thank you for it. So 5,000 subscribers is amazing. I think it was back in like early 2015 where I just had 500. I've gained 10 times that now. If my math is right, that's 10 times as much in over 4 years. That's just amazing to me. I just can't believe it. So keep on engaging. Keep giving me the comments, stuff like that, discussion. If you've checked out those RAMBO 4Ks and whatnot, let me know your thoughts on them, about the look of the film and the quality of it all and all that type of stuff. So definitely big on that. And you can check out my friend Oliver Harper's channel here, because he's going to be posting a very particular look at the Batman 4K remasters on the Ultra HD disc. That's coming up very soon, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. I think a lot of people should very much engage with that video when it comes up, because there's going to be a lot of talking points to that thing. I know there will be, because he's even said that himself, because he's had a lot of discussions with people that are very kind of back and forth and kind of very, very involved type of stuff. So it's a very interesting video from what I've heard. He's working on it now, so definitely look for that. So I'll have some new stuff up by the, not by the weekend, but we'll be working on stuff on the weekend and get as much out as soon as possible. So guys, thank you so extremely much for supporting things and sticking around and enjoying things. So thanks much. Take care. Bye-bye.